people make and what others make. In fact, there's over 25 times difference between the top salesman and the lowest salesman in their incomes for the year. And you know, you have to ask yourself why. Why are some people making as much as $260,000 a year in commissions and others are making under $10,000 a year? And there are reasons for that. Let's talk about good practices. Attitude. First of all, attitude has been described as the most important word in the English language. Your attitude towards the world determines the world's attitude towards you. So that's a real bedrock difference between people that are doing well and people that aren't. Secondly, discipline. Definition of that, of a professional, is someone who does the job even when they don't feel like it. And then I'm sure that most of us, you know, on a really cold, inclement day, you don't really feel like going out and making cold calls. And yet, if you force yourself to do that, that sometimes starts nudging you towards the higher end of the income spectrum. A third thing is effort. Vince Lombardi, have you ever heard of him? He was the coach of the team up in Wisconsin somewhere. Yeah. He said, I want 100% commitment at all times. Anything else is not good enough. Anything less is not good enough. So in our microcosm here, hours is the common denominator. I mean, I'll brag to you about myself for 1 second. Yesterday, my wife calls me a workaholic, incurable workaholic. I started my day at 9:30. I left the office at 9 last night. I was at a customer close to 6 p.m. And you know, if you throw yourself into this job, you're going to reap the rewards. It's really a reciprocal thing where you throw yourself into the job, you throw yourself in the customers, and you will be paid proportionate to your efforts. Organization, plan your work, work your plan. A paper and a pen. I think everybody should have goals. These are my goals right here. I won't go through this. I've done this in a couple of other DVDs, but these are the goals I have for the month. These are the goals I have for the year. Personal goals, business goals. You should have your goals written down for the year, for the month, and you should know what you're doing Monday, for example. I know exactly the customers I'll be going to on Monday. This is them right here. Let's see if I got Monday. These are the customers I'm going to go see Monday, and they're prioritized. If I mark them with a magic marker, you know, colored highlighter, that's the very top priority. Circle them. Second priority. Third priority would just be written. But these are the people that should be ripe on Monday. My customers that are going to be ripe, or my prospects that are ripe for a phone call or a visit. You want to prioritize, as I just showed you there, but you also want to posterioritize, meaning you want to get rid of things that are not that important. You want to, things that are kind of like secondary, you don't want to have cluttering your schedule. And there was a story about I forgot the guy, I think his name was, ironically, Charles Schwab, no relation to the stockbroker guy. This is about 100 years ago. And he paid a consultant named Ivy Lee. He said, I want to have you teach me how to do things more efficiently. And so the guy started talking. He says, no, you don't understand. I have lots of things to do, and I don't know how to do them effectively and efficiently. And so Ivy Lee came back, and I'll pay you anything you want within reason if you give me the right answer. Came back the next week, and he said, do things in order of priority. Okay, and Charles Schwab said, he was the founder of a company called Bethlehem Steel. Maybe some of you have heard of that. He said that was the most important business lesson he ever learned. So, and that applies to everybody in the room, including myself. You want to focus on first-rate opportunities and let second-rate opportunities fend for themselves. And that's a quote from Peter Drucker, a famous management guru and author. The next thing is preparation. Okay, on the micro level, you want to get organized, and your real kind of like caisson that you're taking out the battle is your car. Okay, look in your car. Do you have a wide assortment of samples in there? Do you have exactly what you need for Monday? I mean, right now you're at the office. Did you take the samples you need? Is your car organized so you can find stuff? Do you have a current price list, pink price list? Do you have catalogs? If you're going to go to food plants, do you have a blue binder with, or if you're kind of like getting into food plants, even though you don't know there's one on your radar screen at this point, you have a blue binder in there with First Aid, Lagasse, Remco, Carlisle, all the major food catalogs, so that you're ready. You have the ammunition, so when you run into that opportunity, you can take advantage of it. Do you have lots of samples, or do you just have a few? Do you cheapen out? You know, I don't pay half of your gas, do I, Sheldon?
No.
I don't pay half your gas, do I? Or any of your other expenses, except I pay half of your samples. In fact, I pay all of your samples for first $4 on each cold call. So why don't you have lots of samples in your car, loaded for bear? Novelties, or our new system, Joe here, what is it? You start making the half quota, you now can get novelties and put it on your sample budget? What is the rule on that? I think it's 30 days you can put the novelties on your sample budget. The proper samples, do you have the things that are appropriate, or are you just trying to get rid of some stuff that you got in your original starter pack? Did you think through? Did you look in your trunk and spend 10, 15 minutes? I need this, I need that. Blue books. You all know what the blue books are, the little blue record books that we give the salesman.
Hello?
Do you have those with you? And they already went through this, so I'm going to be a little bit redundant. You want to put down when the accounts are ripe in your blue books. You know, it says right in there, you want to circle the date.
Hello?
Let's say 2/15. You want to circle the date when he's ripe. You want to cross off items that they're not interested in. Let's say 10/28. They're not interested in, or 145G. Didn't like it. Cross off. That's a posteriority. That's something you want to get rid of. And you want to circle the items that he was interested in, the 40A. And like Jim said, you might want to even use a highlighter on that for different levels of priority. And obviously you want to put down the prices he told you or he admitted to paying. Another thing to bring with you is your pink past dues. If you've been here more than a month, you should have your pink past dues so you don't accidentally sell somebody and here he's already 60, 90 days past due. You should ask him, hey, when I send that out, could we possibly get a check, or could I pick up a check today? On a macro level, you want to do preparation. What are some of the ways you can do preparation to improve yourself in this job? Can I ask a volunteer? Somebody say something?
DVDs and sales books. Watch the DVDs.
Watch the DVDs. Hey, you get paid for that. Almost $1,000. I think it's $860, and we're going up from there. To train yourself, to go back in time and watch DVDs of our better training meetings over the last 5 years. Wait, how many do we have now? Almost 30, right?
There's like 25, I think.
25, where we pay you between 20 and most of them are $50 per quiz. What's another way you can improve your knowledge?
Come to the meetings.
Meetings, very good. Even though it's a long way. If you're making the higher quota, we pay you your mileage to come to the meetings. What's another way that you can go from, let's say you're in the first 30 days, you can all of a sudden be in front of that customer and have the knowledge of somebody who's been in the business 10 or even 20 years.
Manager.
Call your manager. Put him on a speakerphone with your customer so you can listen and learn and your customer can get his answer. What's another way? Some people that you could possibly meet that could help you beyond your sales manager. Who are other people that could maybe give you knowledge?
Well, just sheer volume. You know, I did a lot of calls, and you're forced to run into an answer.
Your customers will teach you things.
You just
Who else might you meet here today that would give you some help? Huh?
Vendors.
Vendors will actually happily make calls with you. They're not doing you a favor to do that. That's their job. What's another group of people that might be willing to help you?
Talk to older reps.
Right, other salespeople. And again, ask them, do you mind if I put you on a speakerphone? Put Steve Skidinga on a speakerphone for somebody that's interested in a truckload or a couple skids of the Green Earth ice melt. What's another way to read? What could you read that would help you learn about our products?
Go over to the sales
Catalog.
manual.
Catalog, sales manual. Again, it all goes back to hours. You put in the time and effort. You know, there's this story about a preacher that walked along a road, and he saw the most beautiful farm he's ever seen. And he came up to the farmer and he said, God has blessed you with a beautiful farm. And the farmer said, yes, he has, and I'm grateful. But you should have seen the place when he had it all to himself. And the point is, you can make something good out of this if you put in the time and the effort. And these are ways to improve your quality as a salesman. You can throw yourself in quantitatively, you know, putting a lot of hours. But I think Ken Fritz, he's been here now for 18 years, 19 years, and he said, like in his second year, I said, well, how has the product line or how has the company improved since you've been here? He says, you know, the thing that's improved the most at First Aid is me. I'm just so much better at this than I was the first couple of months I was here. Closing rate for a typical new salesperson is 10%. 10% of the places you go, you'll sell if you're a pretty good new guy. 50% if you've been here a long time, like Steve Skiddinger, myself, Chuck Siriano. 50%. You're going to be 5 times better at this job as you develop your skills. Okay, let's talk about this. You're starting out. I think you should, and the topic here is advanced salesmanship. One of the things you want to do is husband and concentrate your time on the biggest opportunities. And one way to do that is to avoid windshield time. You all kind of agree with me? That's like spinning your wheels. And what is sometimes windshield time a symptom of?
Call reluctance.
Call reluctance. Very good. That actually, if you find yourself spending a lot of time in the car or a lot of time chit-chatting with one customer, what you're really avoiding is what?
Rejection.
Rejection, cold calls. You're going to that friendly customer and spending 40 minutes or an hour there rather than making cold calls up and down the street. Hey, let's face it, it's easier, it's more fun. So you want to bunch your geographically, you want to bunch your calls together. So you only go to town C once a week or once a month. You don't want to be driving back and forth and spending hours in your car. You want to bunch according to your daily planner or your BlackBerry or whatever, bunch your calls. So like, for example, I go to the North Shore once a week, and I hit a bunch of different dealerships and accounts over there. I go to O'Hare once a week, O'Hare and Elk Grove. And those other days of the week, I spend mainly on the phone. Okay, let's talk about novelties for a second. You know, one of my customers once had a new lady there, very smart lady, and I gave her a whole bunch of novelties because this is a really big customer of mine. And I gave her pens, and I gave her screwdrivers, and I gave her lighters, and I gave her all kinds of stuff. She said, you know what she said to me? Little bribes. You know what? That was a smart thing. You're right. Those are little bribes. And what am I trying to bribe her into doing?
Remember you.
Giving me a chance. Just giving me a minute or two. You know, I mean, she might like this other guy from Zep, or she might have had a bad experience with First Aid, or, you know, she just doesn't want to buy from me. She doesn't like salesmen. I am trying to lubricate the relationship and try to get to first base. Just have her give me a minute or two. And the same thing with free samples. You know, free, free, free. Those are the 3 most important words when you make your cold call. Free, free, free. They don't care your name. They don't care who you're from. Free glass cleaner, free hand soap, free brake cleaner. Before I tell them who I am or where I'm from, I've got that free, free, free out on the table. I am, unlike the rest of you, very adverse, afraid actually, of rejection. I hate rejection. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it's obnoxious. You know, I sometimes get very upset, especially when someone's very rude to me. So I am bribing those people with free pens, free screwdrivers, free lighters. I got free 6, 7 times a lot of times. And if it's an A lead, a great big place, I give them 12 samples. A B lead, 8 samples. A C lead, 4 samples. But if the guys are a D and F, what do you think I do? I actually take the samples back. Well, Mr. Jones, you know, I got to pay for these. And it doesn't look like you're too interested. I'll just take those back. Especially if it's an F, it's a straight out F. But the A or B or C lead, I'm telling them, try it before you buy it. Does anyone know the 5 stages of sales? I'll give you the letters. A, I, D, C, C. Anybody know that?
Approach.
No? You're warm, very warm. Anybody know that?
Interest, decide,
Attention.
attention,
Free. Interest. Free samples. Interest. Anyone know D? What's D? Attention, interest,
decide or desire.
desire. Very good. Desire. Low prices. Better quality. What's C?
Commit, convince. Commitment.
You're warm. Conviction. How do you get them to be convicted? Try it before you buy it. What else? Money back guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
You don't pay for it 30 days after you get it. Then you pay for it. You don't pay for it now. I'll send it to you. You're not 100% happy. We'll take it back. No cost to you. I'll even pay the freight. Conviction. And what's the last one? C. What's the end?
Commitment.
Close. Can I send that out to you? If you go through the first ones, this one is easy. A lot of sales training classes focus on the close. That's the easiest part of the sale if you get the desire there. If they have the desire and they have the conviction, the close is easy. Okay, I'll rush through this. Quotes and catalogs. Why, if a new salesman's doing a lot of quotes and handing a lot of catalogs, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Quotes and catalogs?
Yeah, he's hanging out catalogs all over the place. He's writing quotes all the time. He's got to go home to write quotes. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Bad thing.
Not asking for the order.
He's not going through these 5 stages. They're saying, "Hey, leave me a catalog." That's a way to do what? Get rid of you. When we see a guy getting 45 or 90 catalogs all the time, that's a salesman that isn't going through the 5 stages, isn't giving out samples, isn't reciting items to the customers. And generally, they're not. The customers are not serious when they're asking for quotes and asking for catalogs. You should do no more, I would say, even as a new person, than 1 or 2 quotes a week. How do you do a quote and get a sale right on the spot? If he wants a quote, how do you do it right then and there?
Ask them if I give you a price that's better than anyone else when you give me the order.
Yeah, if I give you a good quote, can I have an order today? And then go to your car if necessary, take your pink price list if necessary, get your sales manager on the phone and walk back in with the quote. Do it right now.
Well, can you give a quote right when you're in front? You don't
Why
want
not?
that. When you said quotes, do you mean like follow-up quotes? Or
No,
right away.
The guy wants a quote. Just
Quote you get
go to the
right
car
away.
and, we know, it's even for me, it's nerve-wracking to try to quote a guy where you're standing right in front of him, So you say, well, give me a few minutes, let me go to my car and I'll put a quote together as long as there's a hope for us. Is there any hope I could get an order today if I give you a really good
Qualified before you
price?
give a quote.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, yeah, I guess if you give me a really good price, okay, so how many, what's the most you'd ever buy if you got a really good deal?
5 cases.
That's the most.
That's it.
Quote them on 10
All right.
and 5. Okay?
Yeah, just do right there though. Okay.
Yeah, do it either in front of them, or if you're brand new and a little scared, go to your car, write up your quote, come back in. And if necessary, get on your phone, call Steve, your manager, or call whoever your manager is and says, oh my God, the guy's asking for 10 cases of brake cleaner. What do I can't remember how to do that formula. Okay, believe me, my 2 kids who sold for us this summer, I was on the phone constantly with them, figuring out minimum markup. Okay, what if he says, that's a pretty good price, but I'm not ready yet? What's your kind of fallback close? I'll take it maybe the 1st of March. You could just say. Huh? Future order. How do you do a future order? Yeah. Yeah. Could I write it up now, send it to you the end of the month, you get it the 1st. Would that be acceptable? And I'll give you this really good price now. Lock in the price right now. Very good.
Then you try and add on right before you send it.
Okay? Now, the other thing, when you're in front of him, what should you be doing? What's a major function of the salesman? To try to find...
Taking notes?
Taking notes, that's
20
good.
product items.
What's that?
20.
Reciting items to him. That's almost the most important thing you're doing in the core period of the sale. You know, don't say, hey, we got great glass cleaner, floor soap, toilet paper, garbage bags, light bulbs. Item, item, item. He's only going to give you, after even all those little bribes, he's only going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes maximum. He's going to start getting irritated after that, because what's he really trying to do?
Get you out of there.
He's trying to get rid of you. He's trying to make money. He's not that interested, 99% of the time. So, you recite your 20 items, and then, you try to close. Can I send that out for you? Can we ship at the end of the month? Whatever. Okay, now we're going to talk about, just very quickly, concentration. You want to focus on your A leads. Okay, I basically already did this. I'm sorry. Okay. I already told you about that. Okay. I'm going to skip most of this here. A secret weapon that a lot of salesmen don't use is the no commission sale. No commission sale. Wait a minute, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to make a commission. I'm here to make a commission. I'm here to make the $50. What is the advantage of a no commission sale?
Open up a new town.
Future orders. You're in the door.
There's a metamorphosis. You change from a caterpillar into a butterfly. You go from a salesman to a vendor. There's no comparison between a salesman and a vendor. A guy that's already supplying me with something, and ideally a hand soap, a high repeat item. He is going to be 3 times as friendly to you next time if you got an item in there, even if you didn't make anything on it. And sometimes you can say, you know what, I didn't even make anything on it. When you're in front of them, I'm not going to make anything in this order, but I'd like to get started with you. You look like you have a nice business here. I'd like to try to become a vendor. So don't be ashamed of writing no commission sales. One of my better accounts was called Lipton, and then they changed the name to Unilever. It was bought by Unilever Best Foods. It took me 2 years to get in the door. 4 no commission sales. At least 4 night visits. I'm talking about midnight, not 7 at night, midnight. And my 5th order, I got a commissionable sale. I became a butterfly. And they became an $80,000 customer for about 4 years at about 15 to 17% commission. So I got rewarded, but it was an arduous beginning. Another little trick you can use beyond the no commission sale is a conference call to vendors. And I've been doing this more and more. So many times you will get customers who ask a question and you really don't know, do you? I mean, is that possible? Could that happen? You don't know the answer, whether it's a swivel for the vacuum hose or a vacuum cleaner or lighting. You don't know the answer. And so one option for you is to call your sales manager. But a lot of times he doesn't know either. But the vendor, a lot of times, is the expert. And a good methodology is for you to get the vendor on a conference call with your customer. And you just sit there and listen. And the vendor will know not to tell him your price. And the vendor will ask the appropriate question. The customer will appreciate he's talking to an expert, and he'll appreciate that you handle it expeditiously. Okay? And as a result, you'll go up a notch in his esteem. Okay? So try that, a conference call. And your home phone, it's about $2 or $3 a month to get, at least it used to be, for conference calls. You just push the button and you get a second line, and you dial the second line and it works. And then you push it a 3rd time and it goes right through. It's not expensive. The next thing I want to talk about is, let's imagine your personality. Let's evaluate your personality as a salesperson. And I want you to, we're going to talk about a waitress and a waiter. We're not being sexist here. We're just going to assume what kind of tip are you going to give this waitress versus the waiter. Okay, where's my marker? Okay, here we go. Here's a waitress. She keeps you waiting. Okay, you're going to think about how much of a tip, what percentage are you getting? What's a good tip is about 20, 25%, and it can go down from there, right? She keeps you waiting. You're tapping your foot. You're thinking of leaving. Okay? When she comes, she's very talkative. You like that so far? Very talkative. And what does she talk about? Herself. Her problems. Her problems. Her health. Oh, she got some health problems. Her kids. She talks about her sports teams. She's in Chicago and she's a big Packers fan and she's talking about it. What else does she talk about probably? Politics. She talks about politics. And
I've already left.
and the best thing of all, she tries a couple of jokes on you. She's a big jokester. She likes to tell jokes. Now we're thinking about what kind of tip you're going to give. Now I don't know if you've heard that 80% of success is showing up, but they should finish that sentence on time. Okay? Now, on the other hand, we have a waiter. Apologize, it's a little bit sexist here. We're going to give him a tip too. Percentage. This waiter is, what the word is, obsequious. Anyone know what that means? Obsequious. Obsequious means servile. Servile. He's your servant. Obsequious. And your name is what? What does he call you?
Sir.
Sir! Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Right away, sir. He's punctual. Punctual, very punctual. Immediately there as you sit down. Do you know a lot about him? A lot about his family, about his problems? Nothing. He doesn't talk about his family. He doesn't talk about his problems. He doesn't talk about his health. Nothing about him. You know nothing about him. Does he make you feel important?
Yes.
Yes, you are important. You're important to him. And he makes you feel that way. Does he give you eye contact?
Yes.
Eye contact, okay? Does he have any opinions of anything like about politics, Obama, Egypt,
Not that he tells
the
you.
Bears? He doesn't. It's like he has no opinions at all. Does he try to push his favorite items onto you? Like you've got to try this soup, Jim.
No.
No, he doesn't even try to push any items. If you ask him a question, he'll respond. If you say something stupid, does he tell you you're wrong?
No.
Even if you say something really stupid, he never tells you. Benjamin Franklin said, I never correct anyone. That was our first diplomat. Never corrects you. Does he tell any jokes?
No.
No jokes. How does he dress? This woman, I forgot to tell you, is he...
Like a woman.
What's that? Are you offended? Let me ask you this way. Are you offended if he's well dressed, even in a tuxedo? Are you offended? You're having lunch, right? Or dinner. You're not offended if he dresses up. Now the waitress, I forgot to mention, she was sloppy. She wore blue jeans, or maybe it was blue jean shorts. Actually, you could see some food on her clothes. Now think about it, Who's going to get the bigger tip, the waitress or the waiter? Now think about yourself. How do you dress in front of the customer? Are you punctual? Are you on time? Do you talk about it? You joke around? Do you ask him about his business? Do you tell him about your family? You want to see what type of servant are you. That's what we all are. We're all servants, serving other people. Let's see, the last section here is Methodology. This is the end. Thank goodness, right? This is the end. Methodology is a guy named Harry Major. Harry Major said diversification reduces risk. That was in his newsletter every month. What does that mean? What does that mean in investments? Diversification reduces risk. How does that?
Well, if something goes down, maybe the other thing will go up, or if one goes down.
How does that? That's exactly right, Roger. How does that translate into sales? I mean, like, how does that point so relevant that he would put that in? And where does that guy come from? The Harry Major. You know, anybody here know? Right. He was the president of ZEP for almost 30 years.
Harry Mazer, the bottleneck.
Yeah. Why would that be relevant that he'd harp on that every month to his sales force? Why would that be?
Well, if all your eggs are in one basket and you lose the eggs, then your basket's gone.
Yeah. Diverse. Now, what if you have one really great basket full of tremendous eggs? What should you do?
Hard boil some of them. So
Make sure they're all different colors.
No. What should you do?
guard the basket.
Guard the basket. That's what Andrew Carnegie said. But what else should you do?
Make it less percentage of your.
Get a second basket,
Yeah.
right? Or even a third basket if you can, even if they're not quite as big. Diversification reduces risk. Okay? And I personally have, I'm in this category. I have one really big account that buys $53,000 a month, and I'm working on other big accounts, trying to get another big basket. I actually have 3 big baskets now. I'm trying to get a 4th one. I'm working on CarMax World Headquarters. I'm working on First Student, a bus company with 320 locations. I've got United in Chicago and a little bit in Los Angeles. I'm working on them in San Francisco and Washington, D.C. Okay. And one way, when you work on these big accounts like this, like we're talking about working on key accounts, you have a long battle. How long does it take normally to get a national account, would you say? Typically. Minimum 1 year, and probably 2. But what you want to do a lot of times is you're going to communicate by what? Phone, and what's the second way?
Email.
Email, right. And one way to do it is to send them, and this applies to other accounts too, send them checklists. In fact,
Do we have one?
yeah, you know, could you get one off my desk? There's one on my desk right now for Tim's Auto. I should have brought it, bring it out. I'll hand this around. A checklist of what other accounts are buying from you in similar accounts. Or, in this case, this is just a little account up in Union, Illinois, that my daughter sold some items to, and he's interested in other items. So I'll just show you a checklist with price quotes in there. So a checklist emailed is a good methodology. The phone call, let's talk about, what do you normally get when you call a big account like that? Voicemail. And you know what, one of the salesmen once said to me, thank you, I'll hand this out. This is a typical checklist. One of the salesmen said to me, you think that voicemail was invented mainly to get rid of salesmen? I don't think it's the main reason, but it's part of the reason. And some of these guys at these big accounts, or even medium accounts, you can't get through to them. All you ever get is voicemail. Now the next methodology is, should you leave a long voicemail with a guy?
Sure.
Brevity is the soul of wit, Shakespeare. Most of the time you should leave nothing. Nothing. Try to get through to them another way, the main office, or purposely dial a different phone number, a different extension, and say, you know, can you transfer me over to the, you know, so-and-so? Don't leave long voicemails. You ask for an appointment. What are you looking for with a big national account or any kind of even local big account? What do you really want to go from the email and the voicemail and the phone call to what? What do you want?
In person.
FaceTime. The advantage you guys have over a lot of competitors is you're a live person. If you go there in person, it's going to have a dramatic amplification of your salesmanship. If you're on the phone, I mean, when you get a phone call at home, somebody's calling you, trying to sell you something, what do you feel like? Bam! Hate those guys. I hate them. But if the guy shows up in person, that's different. Okay? It's if you can make an appointment, even if you have to fly somewhere or drive somewhere, FaceTime is a major qualitative advantage that we have. And of course, one thing you can say to the guy is it okay if I stop by? I'm in the area. Or does it make sense for me to stop by and drop off a bunch of free samples? Or could I stop by for 2 minutes and drop off a bunch of free samples, the little bribes? Okay. If they call you, methodology, if they call you, how quickly do you answer the phone?
10 minutes.
Right away. You call, if you get a voicemail or you get a message, you call them back within 10 minutes. That will impress them more than almost anything, and it costs you virtually nothing. If somebody gives you another methodology, if you have an appointment with somebody, you just drive there, is that right? Just you got to be there at 10, so you leave at 9, and they're like 50 minutes away. Is that what you do? Or what do you do first before you get in the car? Confirm the appointment. And then when do you arrive? Let's say it's a 50-minute drive. It's 9 o'clock. It's a 50-minute drive. What time do you leave?
As early as possible. Be there.
What's that?
7:30.
It's sort of proportionate to the opportunity. I mean, I'll brag to you for a second. A long time ago, I had a date with a girl who ended up being second in Miss Illinois. I was there an hour early. I didn't go in the house an hour early, but I was there, down the block an hour early. When it's a really big opportunity, you got to be early. And the minimum for any kind of appointment, according to Vince Lombardi, is 15 minutes early. That should be standard, because obviously you have a chance of being late. Ethics. Let's talk about ethics. Now let's talk about some guys in your life right now, people you know. Your banker, your lawyer, think about them, your doctor, and your auto repair shop. What do you expect out of them for as far as honesty goes?
Complete.
100% integrity at all times. Anything else, anything less than that is not good enough. The golden rule. But are they still going to make a profit?
Absolutely. You got to put down dentists.
Okay, dentists. And that's a good one, dentists. I don't trust dentists as far as I can throw them. I got a great dentist, but most of them. George Gaudio, one of my partners, sent me to his nephew, and because my dentist was out of the country. The guy wanted to spend $2,500 on a problem I had. My dentist came back and says, "What? This is nothing. We'll do this in half an hour." Integrity is the cornerstone of any relationship. And when we're showing this like the waiter, we're reversing this. The goal for them and for you is to maximize what kind of profits?
Long term.
Perfect. Long term. And that might entail losing money on initial activities. But you don't cheat, you don't lie, you don't exaggerate, you don't shade the truth, you don't boast. Do you think that lawyer could boast? Would that turn you on or off? He's telling you how much money he made last year and how he's got three summer houses and stuff. You don't boast. And if there's a problem, what do? What do they do, and what does your auto repair shop do if there's a comeback?
Fix it.
Fix it for what?
Free.
Free. When you fix a problem for free, let's say the guy got 3 cans of glass can that didn't spray. What do?
Give them 4.
You give him 4, 5, 6.
Right.
Give him extra for your aggravation, Mr. Jones, sir. Now, is it ethical? We're talking about ethics. Is it ethical for your banker, your lawyer, your doctor, your dentist, your auto repair shop to buy you lunch as a thank you? Is it ethical? Yeah, it's ethical. Is he trying to cheat you? To buy you lunch? How about for him to bring you, have free coffee and donuts? Is that ethical for your lawyer to offer that to you?
Yes.
How about, let's say, you're a heck of a good You got 5 kids and you've spent a lot of money, could even give you free tickets to the White Sox. It's no problem. And the point is, now when you're dealing with entities and there's like a purchasing agent, that the entity knows what you're doing. In other words, you should never be doing anything surreptitiously. In other words, sending it to his house because if the boss found out, he'd get in trouble. You'd get in trouble. If that's the line, that tells you if you've got to hide it, you've gone over that ethical line. So anyway, let's go back to, we've talked about methodologies for advanced sales. We started off talking about how some guys, a guy named Rodham Kalerik last month sold 132,407, 14.4% commission. Before his monthly bonus, he made $19,000. Vinny Colombo sold 116,155 at 17.5% commission, earned $20,327 in commissions before his monthly bonus. I mean, his 10% is going to be $2,000. Okay, so there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but it's hard to get there. But Peter Drucker, again, the management theorist, said, what one man has done, another can do. Last month, 3 people sold over 100,000, and a guy named Norman Vincent Peale once said, no good is too good for you. You just have to put in the time, the effort, and use the methodologies I discussed. Thank you very much.